Karen always had a knack for spotting treasures where others saw trash. At the town's annual yard sale, she zeroed in on an old, battered trunk tucked under a tarp. It was heavy, locked, and unclaimed, marked with faded military insignias. The seller, a distracted neighbor, shrugged and sold it for $10. Karen smirked, already imagining the antiques inside metals, maybe, or vintage gear she could flip for a fortune. She didn't ask questions. She never did. Tom, the trunk's owner, was a Vietnam vet who'd kept it locked in his shed for decades. Inside were memories he couldn't face. Letters from fallen comrades, a silver star, photos of a life before the war broke him. When he discovered it gone, stolen from his property, his grief turned to rage. He tracked it to Karen's garage sale, where she'd pried it open, selling his medals like cheap trinkets. "Those aren't yours," he roared, his voice shaking the crowd. Karen scoffed, claiming finders keepers, her entitlement a shield against his pain. The confrontation escalated in the community center, where Tom demanded justice. Karen, defiant, waved a receipt, insisting she'd bought it fair and square. The townsfolk splitsome saw Karen's hustle as harmless, others Tom's violation as unforgivable. Whispers of lawsuits filled the air. Karen's confidence cracked when Tom's lawyer, a sharp-eyed woman, presented evidence. The neighbor had no right to sell Tom's property. Karen's smugness dissolved into panic as she realized she'd walked into a legal trap of her own making. The case unraveled Karen's life. Tom's lawyer dug deeper, exposing Karen's pattern of acquiring items from neighbors' yards, spinning lies to justify her greed. Social media erupted, branding her the town's pariah. Friends turned away, her online store tanked. In court, Tom's trembling voice recounted the trunk's contents, each item a piece of his soul. Karen, cornered, tried to apologize, but her words rang hollow. The judge ruled in Tom's favor, ordering restitution and fines. Karen lost more than money. Her reputation was ash. The final blow came when Tom opened the trunk in court. A letter from his best friend, killed in '68, fell out. He read it aloud, voice breaking, describing promises to live fully for those who didn't. The room stilled. Karen's eyes burned with shame, but it was too late. She'd taken more than a trunk stolen, a man's closure. The judge's gavel fell, but the real sentence was Karen's isolation. The town, once her playground, now saw her as a cautionary tale. Tom reclaimed his trunk, but the victory was hollow. He'd fought not for money but for dignity, yet the scars of exposure lingered. Karen, meanwhile, faced a future defined by her greed, trapped in a cage of her own arrogance. Sometimes the things we take come with chains we can't see. What would you have done in Karen's place? Justify her actions or seek forgiveness? How should communities balance justice and empathy in conflicts like these?